you see the thing with Cracker Barrel?
No, I did not.
The CEO, who is a gay LGBTQ woman, decided to change the logo, and she wants to take all of the knickknacks off the wall and make it more
Like
regular.
Make it more gay.
Like probably want to put rainbow flags and pictures of Elton John and.
Cracker Barrel loses almost $100 million in value after new logo release. This is just like Bud Light.
What is wrong with you people? For Christ's sakes, don't hire these people. They come into something that's meant for it's because there's a guy. There's a man sitting in there. They probably can't take it. Oh, look at that toxic masculinity sitting next to that
What are
barrel.
they selling anyway?
You ever been to a Cracker Barrel?
No, I have no clue what Cracker Barrel is.
It's a breakfast place.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's what it's known for. They have the best breakfast. They're all across the country. They have rocking chairs out in front where you can buy.
Is there one in L.A.?
There's got to be one in California.
I haven't seen
and
one,
they have a
that's why.
corner store, which is, and she wants to get rid of that too, from what I read. A corner store, it's like an old country store, and they got candy and all the old time candy and stuffed animals. And
Was that guy maybe the founder, the guy in the logo?
oh, I don't know. All I know is if you got so much money in the LGBTQ community, open up your own restaurants and do it the way you want to do it. Stop taking away Americana and trying to make it gay. I've eaten there because I drove cross country multiple times. I'd stop there and eat, and I bought one of the wooden rocking chairs they have in the front.
Is it better than Denny's?
Denny's is trash.
Yeah. Is Denny's like considered the McDonald's of breakfasts?
I think
Breakfast
so.
places?
I think so.
So this is a legitimate nice place.
It's like a theme restaurant. It's like you feel like you're in a country restaurant.
Got it.
You know, they have they don't just dress in like Iron Maiden t-shirts,
I got it.
which is, I like Iron Maiden. Yeah.
But we're going to cover a few interesting things today, right?
Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some.
John Bolton, Governor Newsom, California, redistricting.
Is he related to Michael Bolton?
I have no clue.
You know who Michael Bolton is?
Yeah, the other thing, right?
He's a singer.
Oh, he's a singer.
In the 80s. Big singer in the 80s.
Nicolas Maduro has a $50 million bounty on his head.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, of course, our recent Alaska summit. John Bolton's house got raided. And apparently because he wrote the book that was called The Room Where It All Happened. And in the book, he leaked some classified information. But they didn't arrest him. That's what I don't understand.
They're probably just looking for evidence of the Russiagate.
Do you think Trump is just going after his adversaries, like people who were calling him out before?
No, they're criminals. If they did what they did, they're a criminal. Whether they just they just overturned that real estate case in New York.
Is Obama a criminal too?
If he did what they said he did, yeah, he's a criminal.
Okay, but they were doing the same thing to him as well. That's what I want to understand. The
What do you
Russiagate thing, like
Obama was. This is what they're saying. Obama was behind pushing the Russiagate, Russia interference. Bolton was. They said that we don't. I guess the FBI guys or the CIA guys said we don't. There's nothing here, and he goes, "Well, push it. Still push it, right? Still, let's still do this because they thought Hillary Clinton, who actually gave Trump kudos for cleaning Washington D.C.
Really?
Yes, even she came over
Recently?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's what they're probably trying to find information or evidence against this Russiagate stuff. I don't think it's about the book. What do you think?
Well, he says he tweeted out apparently that he had no clue about the raid. He had no advanced knowledge about it. And what is this? Kash Patel tweeted out that no one is above the law. That means there's something that is clearly going on with Bolton. You know, Bolton has been in diplomacy or in politics for a long time, and I'm sure he knows quite a few things that a lot of people don't. And maybe he's trying to sell his book, and he put in some stuff that weren't supposed to be placed in there. But it's very likely, like you said there. I don't think they would go after anybody that didn't have a reason to be, to be looked over.
Yeah. Well, it's talking about fake news. This shit has been around forever.
And he was a big critic of Trump, right? After
Yeah,
he got
Trump fired him.
2019.
That's right.
Why did he get fired?
Trump, he disagreed with Trump.
That's it.
On security, I think, right? Security. He was his advisor, security advisor.
So
So
apparently they were saying he's like a warmonger, Bolton.
he's probably a neocon.
And he helped. He was serving under Bush as well.
Yes, he was.
George W.
Yep. They like war.
During the war, yeah, I know. There are some crazy Republicans out there that love war, and Trump is just trying to stop it. Just like right now with the Alaska summit, and summoning European leaders to America to make sure it ends. And I think that's a great idea. A lot of people, I think, they just make up bullshit about him and say, oh, he's not trying to end it, or he's just trying to show U.S. might. But at least, like you said earlier, he's doing something about it, right? Why didn't anybody do something about it before? Why didn't Biden do something about it?
Well, Biden was too busy fucking shitting his pants.
He was president 4 years. All he did, he was supplied, money and weapons and armor and all this to Ukraine to continue fighting. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? Let's end this in a diplomatic way.
So the thing with from what I read, the thing with Venezuela is this guy is buddy with the drug cartels.
I know, that's what they're saying. That's what the U.S. is
So
saying.
that's why the Navy's out there and they're going to fucking annihilate them.
Yeah.
Okay? So they don't want the drug cartels to get their hands probably on that oil.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but I don't think the drug cartels are going to, outpower the government of Venezuela.
Of course they will.
I don't think so. It's not Mexico. It's not the Mexican cartels that we know. Mexican cartels, they're different, man. They're badass. They have a military. Literally, they have a military. They have an arsenal. They have tens of thousands of soldiers.
Then why do they bow down to these people?
Who?
The Mexican government and all these people, if they have so much power.
It's because they remember Colombia and they remember Pablo Escobar. Because they remember Pablo Escobar. Do you remember what he did? In the 80s, in the early 80s,
Yeah.
He had a full-on war with the government, even though he was on the run. And that was one Pablo Escobar. Look how many massive cartels there are in Mexico. But I still think if the government of Mexico wants to, outmaneuver and outpower these cartels, they still can. But they are so deeply tied in with them that they're just not doing it.
If you want to get a job done, you got to just do it. You can't say, well, is there any drug cartel people in here? Oh, no. Okay, we're going to go to the next house. You just got to fucking lay it out, flatten it.
Just like El Salvador.
Yeah.
Look what Nayib Bukele did, with 18th Street and MS-13 over there. He just made it go away. It's the safest country in Latin America right now.
I saw my first. I was at a near Redondo. I think I was at a Trader Joe's, and I think there was a guy in there. He had like 13 tattooed on his face.
Well, 13, that doesn't mean that they means they're from Southern Mexican gang.
Yeah, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking around like, hey, like I'm a gangbanger.
Yeah. Maybe he did it a long time ago and he regretted. Maybe he's a normal citizen right now, and he didn't.
Well, grow a beard.
Yeah.
Grow a beard like Tom and like myself.
But going back, yeah.
Did you ever grow a beard?
No, one time.
What do you think?
And you saw it. I don't like it. I like to be clean shaved. My dad was always clean shaved, and he always made sure that he says. And my grandfather said that, a man should always be, clean shaved. Have his nails cut short, and dress properly, and smell good, and yeah. I mean, that's what I grew up with.
My grandmother didn't like beard. She called it dirty.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But
That's
you
what my
can't
grandpa said.
What did you say?
Yeah, no. You but having a beard, this is a recent, style that a lot of men, started to have. Back then, beards were mostly for these intellectuals, the writers, poets, I don't know, scientists, and maybe scientists. But right, wasn't it like
Well,
that?
people worked in a coal mine. They had beards. I mean, it
Or
was.
mustaches.
It depends.
There was a study done about presidents who grew beards or had mustaches.
Yeah.
And that stopped, I think, at the beginning of the 19th century, Then all of a sudden, everyone went clean shaved.
So I think Teddy Roosevelt
Yeah.
had a mustache. Lincoln had a beard.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then after Teddy, I don't know how many people did, but I don't remember, like from modern history, looking at, let's say, Kennedy and on from the 60s, I can't think of a single president that had a beard.
At one point, you guys probably remember this, Barack Obama, he did the whole 6 o'clock shadow look, And that's when beards started coming back in fashion, is when the presidents had facial hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only guy who had a beard that I know was a leader of a country, was leader of Armenia, who was an idiot. But, yeah.
You had Castro.
Yeah, but Castro, he was a leader, but he wasn't like a U.S. president that we know. He was a revolutionary. He was part of the army. He was with Che Guevara, right? And he was like one of those type of people. He was like, "Oh, I'm here with the people,"
These guys.
fighting.
These guys all come from parents with money.
Who? Like these leaders?
I mean, even though Castro's was a illegitimate son because his father had another wife, he was a dentist or he was a doctor, so he took care of him. Same thing with Che Guevara. Guevara.
Yeah, Che Guevara.
He was going to college to be a doctor, and they just joined Karl Marx. Family was very wealthy. These guys, I guess they got so much time. They start, looking at what everybody else is doing. Goes, oh, that's not fair. I'll have another blueberry muffin. Oh, that poor guy over there, he has nothing to eat. Yeah, can I get another coffee? Because they hung in these cafes and shit.
Well, the only president we had here in the U.S. that, not the only, but the recent president was maybe Obama, who wasn't wealthy, even though he was a Harvard grad, right? But he didn't have a dad. He had a mom, and
he had a couple dads. He had the guy from Singapore or something was his mother remarried. He had stepdads.
Yeah, but he didn't grow up like wealthy. He didn't grow up like Kennedy. He didn't grow up like Bush.
No, but he was middle class. He lived with his grandparents.
Yeah, middle class is like all of us.
His father was from Africa. He was a real African American. Obama. You know what I mean? He's got Africa. His father was from Africa. His mom was from America. That's an African American.
Robert. But anyways, yeah. So you think the Mexican government can overtake on the cartels? Take control.
Of course they can.
So why don't they do it?
Because they're probably making money. They go getting probably money from that shit.
Even this new president, Scheibom?
Why not? I'm not going to say definitely, but why wouldn't? I mean, what is this? What is to say she's not? I wrote something about the fentanyl and that this is an act of war. You're killing our young people. This is an act of war. You should be leveled. You should be fucking leveled. My nephew died. A lot of my friends' fucking kids died from this stuff because they were doing regular drugs and it was in there. And it's.
Can't we also blame our government as well? We haven't been doing enough.
He just closed the border. So,
But he just did it. What about the previous administration?
well, what are you going to do? It's still happening. So now they're going to go to Canada. They're going to try to get it through Canada. They're bringing it in through Canada. Canadians, the drug cartels, from what I was told by one guy who studies this stuff, is that the drug cartels want to cut out China. So they're going to Canada and they're trying to get the people who do labs work and science up there to create the fentanyl without getting the ingredients from.
But it originally originated from China, right? Fentanyl.
I don't know where it originated from, but they're the ones that were funding it to the cartels. They were sending ingredients and they would mix it together.
So if you're saying it, we should, just evaporate them. What do you say about, our government, the CIA, being actively involved previously in drug trade? Being funding, for instance, we were talking about Latin America, the Nicaraguan Contras, and, selling cocaine and moving cocaine and making that money to buy guns and train them, and,
You know what?
there's another Contra right now that we have no clue about.
It's the same thing as slavery. You want to sit there and cry about it today. This shit happened in the past. Let's move forward and let's stop.
You say it in a way like we have no fault in this. That's, I think we have a fault in this as well as a government.
But we have to stop it. How do you stop it?
It happened for years, and we could have stopped it for years, and we haven't.
I understand. We could have stopped slavery before the Civil War, but we didn't. We could have stopped, a lot of racist policies that went on after slavery, but we didn't. So we need to clean up our act, which I think we have with Trump, and he's trying to negotiate with these people. Like, hey, we don't want this, and they're going. So okay, let's just get rid of them.
Well, you think he has enough time? He has like 3 years left.
Dude, what this guy's done in 6 months? Think about what he has accomplished in 6 months.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He has accomplished quite a few things.
Because the country is behind him. Because Democrats and independents, along with Republicans, put him in office.
Yeah.
They're sick and tired of this
I don't
shit.
think it was only the Republicans. A lot of independents and Democrats, including myself.
Of course. Of course.
Independent. I'm a Democrat.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't align myself with any party because corruption. Plus, you want my vote? Let me hear what you have to say. I'm not just going to say, well, I'm just going to, if you go into a booth and you're fed up and you just say, I'm just going to vote Republican, that's one thing. But
and you know what I don't understand? That a lot of these state politicians, they always say, like Newsom, right? We have to fight Trump. We have to get rid of Trump. We have to do this with Trump. And I don't understand why not work with him and try to compromise a little bit here, a little bit there, get a little bit of what you want, and let him get a little bit of what he wants, and just work together as a country.
He's not allowed to.
He's your president at the end of the day, and you're an independent state. I get it, but you are part of the union.
He's not allowed to.
He's not.
Gavin Newsom's not allowed to work with Trump because California is probably the biggest electoral votes, votes in general. You can't say, hey, you know what, this guy's doing a good job, because then, the retard factor of voters will shrink, and the people that don't like Trump.
His approval rating just went up. You know that?
Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, it went up to like 56% because
where was the poll? That's what I want to know.
I think it was a UC Berkeley poll.
Oh boy, then
Here you go.
slanted.
UC Berkeley Institute of Government Study poll conducted for the LA Times asked registered voters about Newsom this is about the redistricting push favoring California Democrats, which serves as a counterattack to President Trump and Texas Republicans reworking election maps to their advantage. And most Californians actually are supporting the redistricting. And since he has been bashing Trump nonstop,
Yes.
okay, his approval rating has gone up.
Well, don't you think it's more about, it's not an anti-Trump movement, it's an anti-conservative movement, because the state has becoming more and more conservative. Okay, they already did a redistricting a few years ago, and it's still, Democrats are voting Republican now. like they did during Reagan, and they're trying to stop it. So they need the bad guy, and they need an excuse because Texas is redistricting because of people like, I guess, Jamie Crockett and idiots like that. So this guy's going to come in and say, well, Trump bad, I'm going to redistrict. And why don't you worry about the frickin' Palisades is still hasn't been built in Altadena and all of these problems that we're having, and you're worrying about getting more Democrats in so the state can go further down the toilet.
Do you think he feared that this past presidential election, a lot of counties voted for Trump?
Of course he's afraid of that.
Was slowly is transforming into this, more right-wing type of, ideals and movement. That's why he's doing this.
Remember in the beginning, he said he agrees now with Trump about the woman, the trans and the sports and shit like that.
That's right. Yeah.
They must have got to him. The Pelosi mafia must have got to him and said, "You're not going to go any further if you continue down this road." And now he's got to be the puppet.
I think Pelosi will be dead by the time he runs for president.
She's going to be alive forever. She died years ago.
She did die years ago. You're right.
But speaking of this kind of stuff, my kids have been watching Sopranos. Sopranos is on another. I noticed you got your picture of all your gangster friends, and my kids love Soprano. Like my 18-year-old and my 16-and-a-half-year-old, and they're watching it, and they because there's just nothing out there. There's nothing on all of these streaming services.
Oh, you are so right.
There's fucking nothing on.
Have you noticed they're always releasing? They're just releasing the new Naked Gun. Naked Gun is like an old comedy movie, and they're just making another new one instead of like making a new movie. There are no great new movies coming out. It's only these superhero movies, Avenger movies, Marvel movies, but there's no like true, life lesson learning or biographical, historical movies.
Yeah, it's also a lot of they're pushing a lot of feminine movies, making men are always the buffoon in these movies, and I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch woke. I don't want to watch a bunch of guys making out. I don't want to watch a bunch of women making out.
The White Lotus.
Yeah, like the White Lotus. Oh, disgusting. But there's nothing out there. So I watch a lot of documentaries.
Me too. Yeah.
I watch them like if I find that they're pushing an agenda, I shut them off.
I just started watching about it's called the Titans. It's about the American bankers, and it starts off with J.P. Morgan, Junius Morgan, JP's dad.
Yeah,
it is so interesting how he just molds his son into becoming the king of Wall Street. I mean, this guy was richer than America, and he's a genius. And then he's trying to do the same thing to his son, but he notices that it's a little bit too late. He was so caught up on being JP, and his son is nothing like him. And then these other bankers come in, Jewish bankers. So I didn't know at the time. So if you were a Jewish banker, the door was closed for you. Like, how everybody's saying bankers are Jewish.
Well, Morgan was a Jew.
Morgan was a Jew?
Yeah, J.P. Morgan was a Jew.
Are you sure? Can we Google that? I don't know. He
built the railroads.
Yeah. He was from England, and then his dad, American financier. No, he was a Protestant family. Yeah. He wasn't a Jew. 1830.
Yeah, there's no evidence to suggest that he has Jewish descent. He was known for business dealings.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that he had Jew blood in him.
No. He was a Protestant. He was Christian.
Well, that's still it's a choice. It's a religion. You're not born a Protestant. You're born.
I know, but you have to be born Jewish, right? I mean, you can become Jewish as well. You can Jewish as a religion, not Jewish by blood. There's a lot of people who become Jewish by religion. So, anyways, and then he was trying to groom his son, and it just didn't work out. And then, anyways, it's a fantastic documentary. I suggest for everybody to watch it, and just whoever if people are in business, his maneuvers, his critical thinking, his strategy, his risk, just overall, this guy really was a giant. He was a titan.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the biggest banks in the world, right?
Yeah, right now, yeah. Well, it's not family owned anymore. Back then, it was like really family owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Goldman Sachs. So, Sachs' name came to the bank because Sachs married Goldman's daughter, and then they became partners in their bank. It was called Goldman Sachs. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So the Sopranos, all that stuff that the kids are watching, and I was sitting and I'm watching Michael Francesi.
Oh, Michael Francis, yeah, the
Okay.
gangster, yeah,
And Sammy the Bull.
yeah.
And I see these rats. They ratted on everybody, went to jail.
Michael didn't though. Michael Francis didn't rat.
Well, he says he did. He says he didn't, but there are gangsters out there that says he did.
Yeah. Well, he was imprisoned. He was in prison, I think, for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Right. His dad was a massive gangster.
Yeah. His dad was in jail too.
Yeah. He just recently got out and then died.
But they're murderers. They're rats. They're chiselers. They people over, and now they have podcasts and people watch them and are fans of them. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, Sammy, he killed 30 people or something? It's like being a serial killer. Or he didn't kill, but he was involved in 30 murders.
Yeah, probably ordered it.
Yeah, ordered it or said, hey, go kill this guy. That means you still kind of killed him, right? Yeah, and you're right. People watch it. People are interested. And, I mean, that's culture of America. The Italian mafia is so interesting and so fascinating that everybody's obsessed about it. That's why we have all these gangster movies, and they're so popular.
Yeah.
It's because of these guys.
I got a question for you. I know your dad wasn't like a gangster, but what was the most gangster thing you ever saw him do?
My dad?
Yeah, your pops.
Oh, that's a good question. Gangster thing he did? Well.
All right, so this is I got tons of stories. One of them was, my dad sold one of his businesses, and the guy who bought it paid him a down payment in cash, $35,000, cash in a brown grocery bag. My father's, he went in the bathroom, and he's counting it. I knock on the door. I open the door because I needed a towel or something. He's sitting on a toilet counting his money. I'm like, hey, most people take Playboy in the bathroom.
Cash.
Yeah. Another time, there was this guy. He would speed up and down my street. And I lived in middle class at this point, and he got fed up one day. And he took a fucking shovel and he went over to the guy's house and knocked on his door. The guy calls the cops. The cops come and say, "Hey, he said you had a shotgun." He goes, "No, I just had the shovel." You know what I mean? Like, my father didn't give a shit. He'll smash your head in without thinking twice.
Yeah, my dad was no different. No different than what you're saying. I'm just remembering stories while you're saying it.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, it's
interesting.
That was
my dad was a badass.
Yeah, and you don't look at him like, nobody looked at him like he was a bad guy.
No,
this is I'm protecting my rights.
People loved my dad. I mean, they loved him. They adored him. I mean, people wish he was still alive. I wish he was still alive, and he was like the center of everything. He connected everybody together. And then when he passed, everybody, I'm talking about friends and family, and, he would make sure everybody gathered together and they would sit around at the same table together. If anybody had arguments, he would make sure they had peace. He didn't like drama. He didn't like tension, But he was a straight shooter too.
Yeah,
he would just tell it to your face. I mean, that's how he was.
Yeah, the thing is, I went bowling a couple weeks ago with my son, and I told my father, and he's like, me and your Uncle Jimmy, we used to go to the bowling alley, set up the pins. So when he was a kid, they used kids to set up the pins. I guess they would put them in the thing. And I go out, and it was cool because I mean, my almost 60 years on this planet, I never knew he did. I knew he shined shoes. I know he used to sweep the floors of garages when he was a kid because they were poor, and he needed to make money. So that's when he hung around that type of element because it was in Providence, Rhode Island. He's hanging around with these gangsters who own businesses.
And back then, it was like East Coast was all with mob affiliated people, businesses, especially big businesses, right?
Yeah. I mean, you had the cigarette machines run by gangsters. You had all of those kind of laundromats.
Were there other gangsters besides Italians in Rhode Island?
Rhode Island was basically Italian. If you went to Massachusetts, you got the Irish, you got the Whitey Bulger, but they were still run by the guys in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Not really. And then you had this guy, Joe Barboza, who was the first. He was a Portuguese guy. He was the first witness. What is it called? He was the first witness protection person in a witness protection program. They put him on an island outside of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Nice. A buddy of mine, Michael Carenti, who's made multiple films, he has a pilot of this guy's situation with the Kennedys because Raymond Patriarca didn't get Bobby Kennedy was trying to take down Raymond Patriarca at New England, and he would say things like, "Oh, you're like your sister" in court.
Oh shit!
He was a badass, Raymond Patriarca.